Small businesses are frequent targets for cyber attacks, and weak or reused passwords are often the entry point. Nearly half of all breaches hit organizations under 1,000 employees, and about 81% of confirmed data breaches in 2022 involved weak, reused, or stolen passwords. A simple password leak can have outsized consequences. One study found 60% of small businesses go out of business within 6 months of a breach. In short, a strong password policy is a first line of defense. Without it, a single compromised account could jeopardize your entire operation. Small firms often have valuable data, customer info, credit cards, etc., but fewer security resources. Cybercriminals know this, so they first go to the unguarded homes at the bottom of the hill to steal data. A well-enforced password policy helps lock those doors. It ensures employees create strong, unique passwords and use multi-factor authentication, greatly reducing the chance that a hacker can slip in unnoticed. An effective employee password policy should apply to all systems and accounts and set clear, realistic standards for security. First, passwords should be long, ideally 12 to 16 characters or more. Instead of forcing complex character requirements, encourage the use of passphrases like Blue Carrot Coffee 2025, which are both stronger and easier to remember than strings like PSSWARD. It's also critical to ban common or previously breached passwords, things like password 123, seasonal terms, birthdays, or pet names. Tools can automate the detection of weak or known compromised credentials and block them before they're used. Multi-Factor Authentication, MFA, should be mandatory across sensitive accounts, such as email, admin dashboards, or VPNs. Even a simple authenticator app can stop the vast majority of credential-based attacks. Password managers are also essential. Tools like NordPass make it easy to generate, store, and securely share complex passwords, eliminating the need to remember dozens of logins or rely on reused credentials. If you're looking for a straightforward solution, I've been recommending NordPass Business to my clients. It handles passphrase generation, secure sharing, and MFA enforcement seamlessly. Link will be in the description. If your company doesn't use a password manager, at minimum, ensure any stored passwords are hashed and encrypted. Another key point, don't require users to change passwords every 60 to 90 days unless there's evidence of compromise. Frequent forced resets just encourage predictable patterns like adding 1 to the end. Instead, focus on using unique, long passwords supported by MFA. It's also important to clearly prohibit password sharing or writing credentials down. Every user should have a unique login, and credentials should never be sent via email or written on paper. Finally, implement technical safeguards like account lockouts after failed login attempts and automatic session timeouts to protect unattended devices. All of these elements work together to create a policy that's not just secure, but actually usable. Employees follow it because it makes sense, and that's what truly reduces the risk of a breach. Many companies unintentionally sabotage their own password security by leaning too hard into overly strict rules. Forcing employees to constantly update their passwords or include bizarre combinations of symbols often leads to predictable patterns like password 1 becoming password 2. Instead of chasing complexity, it's smarter to focus on password length and blocking common or breached phrases. People are far more likely to follow a policy that feels reasonable. Another misconception that leaves small businesses vulnerable is the idea that cyber attacks only happen to large enterprises. In truth, almost half of all breaches target companies with under 1,000 employees. Hackers go where the defenses are weakest, and assuming it won't happen to us is a costly gamble. One of the biggest missed opportunities is the failure to enforce multi-factor authentication, MFA. It's simple to implement, available for free on most major platforms, and instantly shuts down the majority of attacks that rely on stolen passwords. Still, some businesses skip it, believing passwords alone are enough, which is rarely the case. Reusing passwords or sharing them across team members is another critical mistake. If someone's personal email account gets hacked and uses the same password for company systems, your entire network could be exposed. Every user needs a unique login, and your policy should clearly forbid sharing credentials. People also tend to pick weak or easily guessed passwords, unless they're guided otherwise. Pet names, birth years, and common phrases are all low-hanging fruit for attackers. Promote the use of long, memorable passphrases instead, or better yet, make a password manager standard. But even with the best tools and policies, if your team doesn't understand the why behind the rules, none of it matters. Training is essential. Employees need to recognize phishing, social engineering, and suspicious activity, and they should feel encouraged, not intimidated, to report it. Finally, don't overlook usability. A good policy should protect your company without frustrating your staff. If the rules are too strict or confusing, people will default to insecure habits, writing passwords down, reusing them, or resisting change altogether. Security that works is security people actually use. To implement a password policy that actually sticks, you have to start with clarity and visibility. That means writing a policy that's simple, easy to understand, and accessible. Don't bury it in legal jargon. Include it in your employee handbook or acceptable use policy, and make sure every new hire reviews and acknowledges it during onboarding. From there, lean on technology to do the heavy lifting. Most platforms, like Active Directory, Google Workspace, or your password manager, let you enforce minimum password lengths, block reused credentials, and require MFA by default. Use these tools to automate compliance so the burden isn't entirely on the user. It's also important to assign clear responsibility for managing the policy. Whether it's your IT lead, security officer, or simply the most tech-savvy person on your team, someone should own it, regularly checking for weak passwords, expired accounts, and gaps as your tools evolve. But policy alone isn't enough. You need to blend it into your company culture. Keep awareness alive with casual updates, short reminders, or quick Slack messages linking to real-world breaches that could have been avoided with better password hygiene. Run phishing simulations or interactive quizzes to reinforce good habits without being preachy. And remember, compliance works best when it's supported, not enforced by fear. Offer personal help to team members struggling with MFA or Vault tools. Consider gamifying it. Give shout-outs or small incentives to people who report phishing attempts or spot vulnerabilities. Leaders should lead by example. If your CEO is using a password manager and enabling MFA, others are more likely to follow. Finally, treat your password policy like a living document. It should evolve as your company adopts new tools or grows into new markets. Add guidelines when you implement a new CRM or cloud platform, and revise the policy after any major security event, making sure to explain what changed and why. The goal isn't to create more rules. It's to keep your business secure while supporting how your people actually work. Small businesses don't need a full-scale security team to implement strong password practices. What they need is the right tool. That starts with a reliable password manager built for teams. One I often recommend is NordPass Business. It's easy to set up, budget-friendly, and built specifically for growing companies. NordPass generates and stores strong, unique passwords for every employee, makes secure credential sharing simple, and includes built-in features to flag weak or reused passwords before they become a liability. Plus, it supports multi-factor authentication, and offers access control tools that give admins full visibility into who has access to what, without slowing anyone down. It's a practical choice for businesses that want security without the complexity. If you want an extra layer of security, physical hardware keys like YubiKeys are also a solid investment for higher-risk accounts. When it comes to writing your policy, you don't have to start from scratch. Reputable sources like SANS or CIS offer free, customizable templates for password policies and broader security best practices. These are especially useful if you're short on time or aren't sure how to word technical requirements clearly. And don't forget training resources. Sites like Microsoft Learn or CISA offer straightforward guidance and visual materials that help you explain password hygiene to your team in plain English. Tools like How Secure Is My Password or Have I Been Pwned are great for making the risks feel real. If your business handles regulated data, there are also compliance-specific kits like HIPAA checklists or GDPR assessment tools, which often include password and access control guidance. But honestly, even if you're not bound by strict compliance rules, following the best practices we've covered, like enforcing MFA, using a password manager, and training your team, will meet or exceed most regulatory expectations around reasonable security. Good password habits should be part of employee onboarding and culture. When new hires start, educate them on your password policy and the why behind it. Explain real risks. Show examples of breaches caused by simple passwords so it's relatable. Train staff to recognize phishing attacks, since phishing is often how passwords get stolen. Run short workshops or e-learning covering common scenarios. For example, what to do if you suspect your password is compromised, or how to pick a passphrase. Make training engaging. Use analogies or quotes to stick in memory. For example, Terry Pratchett's quip, "The only secure password is the one you can't remember," underscores why we use password managers. Encourage questions and discussions. Leadership should reinforce the message. If the boss demos setting up MFA on their phone, others will follow. Periodically refresh training with updates or reminders, monthly newsletters, InfoSec tips, or quick reorientation sessions. Provide cheat sheets or quick guides, infographics on creating passphrases, or step-by-step MFA setup instructions. Consider a buddy system where tech-savvy employees help others adopt tools like password managers. Crucially, emphasize that following the policy protects not just the company, but also employees' personal data and job security. By embedding password hygiene into your company culture from day one, you transform employees from the weakest link into an important line of defense. When everyone understands the reasons behind the rules, compliance becomes automatic rather than resented. Even if your business isn't in a heavily regulated industry, understanding how password management fits into major compliance frameworks is essential, especially as data privacy laws continue to tighten across regions. Take GDPR, for example. While it doesn't list specific password requirements, it does mandate that organizations implement appropriate technical and organizational measures to protect personal data. In practice, that means using strong passwords, multi-factor authentication, encryption, and unique user IDs for systems that store or process any kind of personal information, even something as simple as a customer's email address. In the US, HIPAA plays a similar role for healthcare data. The HIPAA security rule requires unique user IDs and secure access controls for anyone handling electronic protected health information, EPHI. While it doesn't mandate password complexity or rotation schedules, best practice under HIPAA includes using long, strong passwords, enabling MFA, and changing credentials periodically, especially for remote access or privileged accounts. Beyond those, if your business processes payments, PCI DSS enforces strict requirements for access controls and password hygiene, particularly for administrators. ISO 27001, a broader international standard for information security, also includes password management as a control objective. And then there are state-level and regional laws like California's CCPA or New York's SHIELD Act, which require organizations to maintain reasonable security practices for any consumer data they collect. In all of these cases, having a documented password policy, enforcing it consistently, and being able to prove your controls through logs, audits, or incident reports isn't just smart, it's often required. That means logging user activity, enabling lockouts after failed logins, and ensuring stored passwords are properly hashed and encrypted. The good news? If you've implemented strong, unique credentials, enforced MFA, trained your team, and regularly reviewed access, you're already well on your way to meeting these compliance standards while dramatically reducing the risk of a breach. For small businesses and startups, a strong password policy is one of the most effective and low-cost ways to prevent a breach. By combining clear rules, length, no reuse, no sharing, with user-friendly tools, password managers, MFA, and ongoing training, you create a security habit rather than a burden. Remember, implementing these policies is not just a technical exercise, but also a cultural one. Make password hygiene a part of your company's identity. With everyone on board, you'll drastically lower the chance of a cyber attack derailing your hard-earned business.